what's going to be the dreaded sort of punishment meted out to you, Sebastian, if it turns out that all you did was order a couple of pepperoni pizzas on the day in question?
Look, I have no idea. I mean, they tried to do this already with Jim Jordan, one of the bravest congressmen, and the former chief of staff for President Trump. They took their text messages and they actually doctored them. They topped and tailed them. They took them out of context. And Adam Schiff said, oh, look, what is this conservative saying? What is this member of Congress saying? So already, it doesn't matter what I said or didn't say. They'll just make it up, but good, because then everybody will see these people for who they are. It's finally time for everybody to wake up. It's not a political thing. I said on that speech I gave, it's not about being a Democrat. It's not about being a Republican. It's about the U.S. Constitution. As you said it right in your introduction, it's about whether or not we still have a U.S. Constitution. And enshrined in it, in addition to the First Amendment, is the Fourth, which says explicitly you've got to have a reason for searching for warrants. No crime was even mentioned in a 7-page subpoena to Verizon that said you've got to hand over not just his phone details, all the phone details of everybody on my account. That's my wife, Mike. Those are my kids. Yeah. Nothing, no crime was mentioned. It's an absolute outrage. But it's good because people are waking up and they're seeing, oh, look, the emperor's naked. He doesn't have any clothes on.
Right. I mean, if you asked Joe Biden what were the last 5 phone calls he made, I guarantee you he couldn't tell you.
Oh, absolutely. Did you see the speech
one was probably to the speaking clock.
Did you see the speech he gave yesterday?
No, I missed that.
This is a guy who, the day before he gave this grim speech, it is patriotic. You must get a booster. You must get vaccinated.
Oh, yeah.
You must patriotic to get a booster. He sent out a 2-paragraph Christmas message under the White House letterhead saying, for those who are not vaccinated, it's going to be a winter of death. It's nice. I mean, it's so cheerful. I mean, yeah, great. Isn't it fun?
Thanks. Yeah, what about Tony Blair? The war criminal's come out now and said, if you don't take the vaccine, you're an idiot, according to Tony Blair.
How I heard that on the news. How does Tony Blair have the stones to open his gob ever after the Gulf War? I mean,
really?
After what? Yeah. After the dodgy dossier?
Yeah.
How does he have the gall?
He's got more front, as they say, than the stone in front of
the beach of Brighton.
The beach at Brighton, yeah, or even the stone in front of Lazarus's tomb. Considering that we're now talking about Christmas, but the thing that I find extraordinary as well, though, Sebastian, what the hell are they still investigating this January the 6th story for anyway?
So if you lived here, so I can't do it. I just can't stand it. But my producer gets paid the big bucks to do this. In preparing for my daily radio show, he watches all the mainstream cable news channels in the morning. No. Mike, this is not a joke. We are almost a year later. But if you switch on the TV in the morning, all you will see on CNN, on MSNBC for hours is January 6th, the insurrection, the coup. I mean, this is from companies where in just the last week they found 2 pedophiles. CNN is now a pedo hub, and all they can do is talk about the so-called insurrection. This is why things like talk radio are exploding, why my show on Newsmax are exploding. I love the photograph that you had, what was it, yesterday, of the first day in the studio when you were broadcasting.
Yes, wasn't that amazing?
How far you've come. Yeah. That was fabulous. So look, these guys are desperate. And the real reason for all of this, the subpoena for my phone records, the assaults on the chief of staff of the president and Steve Bannon, is they know they are going to get utterly trounced next year in the midterms, and they're desperate. And this is all they've got. This is the ad hominem attack. This is the politics of personal destruction. And it's a great sign, in fact, of their weakness. Yes. But the key thing now, and that's why I gave that barnstormer I did, is everybody has to stand up. You can't fold. This is the moment where you stand up to these bullies and you say, this stops here.
Yeah. And also, by the way, What a waste of public resources, public money, public time. I mean, you wouldn't think that the American economy was absolutely flying. You would think that, the business of running the country was going terribly well. Well, I've got some news for Mr. Biden and his cohorts in the White House. It's not going very well at all. In fact, half the White House isn't talking to the other half. Kamala Harris seems to have disappeared from view altogether, which is no bad thing. Biden has no clue what's going on in the world. He doesn't have a Scooby about what he's going to do next year. Meanwhile, he's telling everybody that it's their patriotic duty. While I was saying this to somebody the other day. If I'd taken my children to New York City this weekend, where my daughter was able to have lunch with my mother, my children, would have been banned from Cipriani's restaurant inside of Grand Central Station because they're not vaccinated. What sort of a country is that?
Wow. Think of this. As they're sending subpoenas for people's private information, they haven't yet, in the last 11 months of the Biden administration, not one committee has been brought to bear on the China virus. You'd think that maybe my text messages could take a second priority to the thing that has caused 800,000 deaths in the US alone. More deaths, by the way, this is interesting because nobody's going to tell you this on the mainstream media. More people have died from COVID under Joe Biden than did under President Trump. And he campaigned on, don't worry, guys. I've been in politics for 47 years. I'm going to fix this one.
Yeah.
You're not fixing it too well. And by the way, the vaccine that he keeps touting, he doesn't mention where it came from. He doesn't talk about Operation Warp Speed, the fact that we have 3 vaccines, not 1, 3, because a former businessman got Pfizer, got the actual companies to do that vaccine at record speed. It takes between 2 and 5 years for a vaccine. President Trump got 3 in less than a year, but the fact that he's touting them, maybe he should remind America where those vaccines came from.
Exactly right. And I was looking back, as you do at the end of a year, for sort of, points of interest that may have happened over time. And on Inauguration Day for Joe Biden, the 3 things he did, which were apparently hailed as great things by his supporters. 1, rejoining the World Health Organization. Great job. 2, rejoining the Paris Climate Change Agreement. Tremendous effort. And number 3, introducing a mask mandate in federal buildings. This is called being leader of the free world.
It's called Monty Python at its peak. There was a clip I'm going to send you last week, I think it was Friday, where Jen Psaki, the propagandist-in-chief, the White House spokesperson, was given a friendly softball in the White House press room where somebody said, could you tell us, since we're almost at the end of the year, what is the policy achievement that the president is most proud of?
Oh, yeah.
What did she do? She got her mask, started to put it on and say, let me get back to you. When the propagandist-in-chief doesn't know just one in 11 months, they've got a problem. But it's gorgeous to watch. While the economy's tanking, while there are illegals everywhere, while inflation is skyrocketing, the price of petrol is we haven't seen in years. It's rather amusing to see this Titanic start to sink.
Yeah. Also, I'm starting to get some enthusiasm for this phone records business. Why? When are we going to see Hunter Biden's phone records from Verizon? Are they going to be subpoenaing those anytime soon?
They probably are rated. They'd be triple X rated if they were, unlike mine. How about these? On a
lot of those numbers that you have to pay per minute or something on, right?
Those very expensive numbers. How about this? How about a serious thing? Everybody talks about the president's culpability for what happened. President Trump, because he thought something might happen, and just in case, and she's such a nervous Nelly, he actually said to Nancy weeks before the January 6th speech, would you like, because you had such a penchant for it earlier, would you like to have the National Guard come and secure the Capitol? Just some extra support for the police. This is on the record, Mike. Nancy Pelosi refused. Now, why would she do that?
Why would she indeed? I mean, that was a question a lot of us were asking on the day of the inauguration, never mind January the 6th. Why were there so many people from the National Guard there protecting the world's most popular president of all time?
It was so tragic for me as an immigrant to this country to see that for months and months and months, we We had a Berlin Wall. We had an Iron Curtain through the heart of the capital, the nation that is supposed to be the greatest, the freest in the world. We had thousands. At the peak, we had 10,000 National Guards with their Humvees, with razor wire atop a fence that was, 6 miles long around Congress. It's called the People's House, Nancy. It's not called your fiefdom, but this is the level, the depravity to which they have sunken. But roll, as I say, roll on 2022, the midterms, and roll on 2024, because I guarantee it, especially if we win the Senate and the House, which means they can't impeach him, my old boss, Donald Trump, is not only going to run, Mike, he's going to stroll back into the White House.
And you know what? I, for one, would be in great support of that, because, we had the whole, take back control conversation about Brexit, and Brexit got done. Boris Johnson did a great job. We're having a bit of a problem with it at the moment. We're going to try and straighten him out over the course of New Year. I've been telling people to take him basically somewhere for re-education. Put him in a dark room, start telling him what conservative politics is all about, and start again and bring back control to the people of this country. But you guys in America need to take back America from these people who, in my view, are ruining it for everyone.
Let me tell you, it is exciting. I'm a resident of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I thought we would lose the recent gubernatorial election because one of the sleaziest, scummiest Democrats, former Clinton bagman Terry McAuliffe, was running. So I thought, it's not going to happen. And out of nowhere, a person who's never been a politician before, just like Donald Trump, a former businessman, defeats this icon of the leftist radicals. And why? Because in the last 3 weeks, he saw these parents stand up at the school board meetings and say, no, you're not masking my kid. No, you're not teaching these racist theories like critical race theory to my 6-year-old. And he said, I'm going to ban this insanity. This is Marxism. He realized this is a culture war we're in for the heart of the nation. And he won. So, we are going to take back America, but it's going to be one school district, one local mayoral race at a time, because that's how you win. The left learned this a long time ago. They had this phrase. Do you remember in the 60s, all politics is local? Well, we ignored them, and they actually did it, and now it's our turn, Mike.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best, and I'm sure you'll win, because it's the common sense way of living. It's the only way to live. Sebastian, have a wonderful Christmas.